Hi, this is Jan Romano coming to you from Mass Higher Metro North Career Centers. I am the computer instructor, and we're going to be teaching today and working together on PowerPoint from basics and beyond. And this is the first part of a three-part series. So today we're going to be going over what is PowerPoint and what you can do with PowerPoint and how do you do it. And so we're going to go over a few of those topics. Pretty much our screen elements we're going to go over in PowerPoint. We're going to go over basics of the screen, creating slides, with text and pictures and word art. We're going to go over saving the presentation and running the slideshow. So we're going to do that with some PowerPoint slides, and I'm going to get into PowerPoint Live and go over how to do that. So right now I'm going to shut my webcam off, and we're going to focus right on PowerPoint. First thing that we're going to do in PowerPoint is we're going to understand some of the screen elements. And the ribbon is going to be important. Miniatures, which is our slide bar, is going to be important. Slides, text boxes, all of that terminology is going to be important. So let me jump into the PowerPoint itself. And this is what our first presentation looks like. So when I do File, New, and Blank Presentation, I get this. And I actually saved it called Vision Office Products because that's the presentation that we're going to create today. And when you create a new presentation, PowerPoint always brings up what we call a title slide. A title slide is a slide that has two text boxes, as you can see here. One says click to add a title, and the other says click to add a subtitle. You get a miniature of it on the left-hand side, and the miniature is empty right now because we haven't typed anything inside this slide yet. Notice you have the ribbon across the top, and the ribbon is very important because the ribbon is going to allow you to use the functions that you need to use. And the more you use PowerPoint, the more comfortable you're going to get with using the commands off of the ribbon. But what I find hardest or the most that you have to really start to remember are where are the commands? What tabs are the commands on? So I want to just go over, I want you to notice that there's an insert tab. And so when I click on insert, there's all kinds of images and illustrations and text boxes that you can add into a slide. We're going to learn how to change our design and put a theme on the background so that it just won't be a white slide. We're going to learn in our part 2 how to transition a slide and make it move, and animations, how to make objects move, and then how to run the slideshow. And so we are going to be able to use each one of these tabs and find the commands that we need. And that's going to help us to fill in this slide for each and every slide that we want in our slideshow. And you can have up to 999 slides in a slideshow. That's a little much. One of the things that I do want to go over is how much should you put on a slide? Well, there's a general rule that you can just go by, and of course you can break that rule occasionally, but 6 lines on a slide, 6 words to each line. It's a good rule to follow. That way there you're not putting too much on a slide, and your audience is going to be able to read it because it's going to be big enough because you don't have so much information. So break up your information and put it on different slides. So our PowerPoint presentation today is going to be about Vision Office Products, and they're going to introduce a new logo for their ergonomic furniture. And so we're going to be creating 3 slides. And the first slide, like I mentioned, is a title slide. So let me go back for a second. We went over the ribbon, we went over miniatures on the left-hand side, and the slide comes with 2 text boxes. I want you to really understand that the default slide layout is a title slide. So a title slide is what you're getting first when you create a new presentation. You're able to type in it or add some more text boxes, or if you want, you can add in some word art. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to jump back to our PowerPoint. We're going to click right here, and I'm going to type the title that I want to put on my first slide. So I want to put Vision Office products. I want to hit enter, and I want to put introduces. Okay, I'm going to click on the next text box, which says click to add a subtitle. And then I will type our new ergonomic division. Now I want you to notice this slide is pretty plain. It has a white background. Before I start doing anything else to it, it might be a good idea to use a design theme. And most companies will have a theme that you will use, and that's the only theme that they'll allow you to use because it has the company colors, it is and maybe has a company logo, it pertains to your company. So here at Mass Hire, we have a theme that we use that has the green and gold and blue theme to it. But again, it would depend on where you're working. So how do you add in a theme before you go any further? What you do, and let me just jump back here, is I want to show you that in order to add a theme, and what is it for? Again, it's a quick way to jazz up a slide, but you add a theme in using your design tab, and then you choose a theme. So I'm going to bounce back and actually do that now. I'm going to come up here to the design tab. These are all my designs, but there are more. If I click this down arrow, the down arrow on a scroll bar always means more. So I'm going to click the more button, and there are plenty of themes that I can use. And each one of these themes, as I move my mouse around, you'll see in the background will change my slide. And they all have names, and you can choose the one that is the one that you like the best. And of course, this one up here is our Mass Hire one that I added in. But we're going to use this one today, which is called Gallery. And when I click on it, I want you to notice what it does to my text. It dresses up my text. It maybe changes where my text was. It changes the size and the font. It put a red line through and a little picture at the bottom, which is a hardwood floor. And it goes along with my theme. So I am going to be introducing the Vision Office Products new ergonomic division, and I just created the slide so far by typing into the text box in this text box here. Now I can move these text boxes. I can change the font inside the text box if I really don't like it. If the font that comes with that theme is something I don't like, I can certainly highlight the text and change on the Home tab. I can change that font. All right, I'm going to keep the font that they give me, but there is one thing that I might want to do. I might want to add in maybe a picture that might just give a little bit of visual interest. So in order to add in a picture, I'm going to come up here to the Insert tab. And I do want you to notice that in the Images group, there are two buttons. One is Online Pictures, the other one is Pictures. Pictures means that I want to grab some pictures that I put on my hard drive or on my OneDrive or my flash drive. They're my pictures. I have them. I save them. But online pictures means I want to go out to the internet, and Microsoft always gives me a safe place to go. And I'm going to do, in this case, a Bing search. Now, if you use the higher version 2019, it'll give you these suggestions with pictures categorized like the beach and animals, but they still allow you to search. So it doesn't matter what version you have, you still are able to click and search. So I'm going to click and type in office furniture and then hit enter. And a picture and several pictures will show up. And so we used to call these clip arts, and you can still call them clip arts if you like, but I'm going to go through and maybe I'm going to take this picture right here, which is a chair. I click on it once, I come down and I click on insert. And that puts it onto my slide. Now the thing is that I took a picture that has kind of a grayish background. It looks okay. Sometimes these pictures don't look so great when you put them on the background that might be not white. So you might have to change it up a little bit or maybe decide on a different picture. But I'm going to take this picture and I'm going to move it. And how did I do that? I put my mouse in the middle of the picture, and a four-headed arrow shows up when I bring my mouse to the middle of the picture. And a four-headed arrow always means that you can move whatever object you're on by just dragging. Now, I want to size this picture as well. So do you see these circles in the corners? These are the best sizing handles that you can go to, and they allow you to size the picture. And again, they're called sizing handles. And so when I put my mouse on one of these corner handles, I'm going to get a double arrow, and a double arrow always means to size, but I want you to watch the angle or the direction of the angle, of the arrow, because that's the angle or that's the direction you're going to go in. So I'm going to drag in a diagonal, and it's going to make this smaller. And then I'm going to move it. But I have one more problem. I'm going to click off of this picture, and then I'm going to click on this text right here that says this photo is by an unknown author. Once I click on it, I'm inside the text box. Then I'm going to take my mouse and go to the border. And the border is not the circles. The border is in between each one of these circles. So it's either a dotted line or a solid line. And I'm going to get my mouse, and notice a four-headed arrow appears. When I get my mouse on there, I'm going to click. And then once I hit the delete key, the whole thing will be gone. So I want to delete that because I don't think anybody really needs to see that. And I might make this a little bit larger, move it over here to the right. And now I click off of it, and this is what my slide will look like. And it's always a good idea to save a slide. If it takes you 5 minutes, every 5 minutes, maybe it takes you 20 minutes. So save it a couple of times in between, but at least save it at the end of every slide. So I'm going to come up here and just use my save button on my quick access toolbar. Looks like a little floppy disk, and click, and it will save. So I'm ready to add in another slide, but I just want to review that we typed into the text boxes and we added in a picture. And how did we do that? Well, let's just review a little bit. We added in a theme, and we added in a picture. And we went to the Insert tab, and we clicked on Online Pictures. We typed in the keyword, and I typed in office furniture, and then we clicked on the picture, and then we inserted it. And that allowed us to create this slide, and then we saved the slide. So now we're ready to create a new slide. So I want you to notice on the Home tab. On the Home tab, there is a button right here called New Slide. This New Slide button actually has two pieces to it, so don't click the top of the button. The top of the button doesn't give you the choice of what kind of layout. Now, what does the word layout mean? Well, when I click on New Slide, it actually gives me some choices of how I might want the slide to look. So I have to anticipate what I want to put on the next slide, let's say. And do I want bullets? And if I do, I might choose title and content. Do I want 2 columns of information? Maybe I'll use 2 content. Do I want to put a picture and just a title? And maybe I will use title only. Or do I want blank? Now, blank still gives me my theme, but doesn't give me any text boxes. Maybe I'm going to just use all kinds of shapes, or maybe a chart. And so I can choose from these most popular, and there are a few others as well, as you can see here. I'm going to choose title and content because what I want to type next is going to have bullets. So I click on title and content. I do want you to notice over here on the left-hand side that I still have my first slide, and now I've added a second slide. And now I go right here in the middle, and I'm able to type into that slide. So let me click right here. Let's see, I'm going to first put in the bulleted information that I want. Let's see, I want to put in, let's see, for conference rooms, we have furniture. Well, let's make that look a little better. For workstations, we have special ergonomic furniture. For offices, let's say, we have furniture. Now, as I move my mouse around, I am going to be able to see that text box that I'm in, and I'm also going to click off of it, and then I won't see that text box anymore. And so I'm able to see it as if I were printing it, or click and be able to see it as if I want to work on it. And then remember, I have the click to add a title. So I'm going to type here, let's call this ergonomic furniture. And so I have 3 types of ergonomic furniture for conference rooms, for workstations, for offices. And I really should put a picture in here to make it a little bit more visually interesting. So let's come on back up to the Insert tab. And let's find Online Pictures and click on Online Pictures and click again to type in, I'm going to type office furniture again. A lot of these pictures that are going to come up are actual photos, and some of them may be a little bit like a drawing, and that's what we would call maybe a clip art. And so I think I'll take this picture right here and insert it in. And when it comes in, I think I'll move it over. I'll click on this text again. I click once inside the text box. I click again on the border of the text box, and then I use my delete key on my keyboard. That gets rid of that text box, and now I have maybe this picture I want to make a little bit bigger. Now, what else can I do with this picture? Well, I do want you to notice that because I have a picture on the screen, Format is a tab that has come up automatically. This is called a contextual tab. It pops up when I need it. And when do I need it? Well, when I have a picture, I might need to do some changes to this picture. So I'm going to click on Format up here at the top. And Format only shows up if I've clicked on the picture, by the way. So if I click off of the picture, I want you to notice that Format will go away. If I click back on the picture, Format comes back. So again, let me click on Format. And one of the things that I might want to do is change the color, maybe make this a little bit more artistically looking interesting based on my choices here. Maybe I want to add in a border here, or make this look a little bit like a mouse pad, or change the look of it. And so let me go through these options with you. So picture style, I click the down arrow, and I can move my mouse around and choose how I want it to look. And I can choose a frame around it, or I can make it look a little bit more visually interesting. So that's called a picture style. Over here on the left, I will see color. So if I click on color, I want you to notice that I can enhance this and make this a little bit more yellow or a little less yellow. Maybe that will look a little bit more visually interesting instead of the white. And then I want to show you artistic effects. Remember, these are all under the Format tab. Artistic effects allows me to add in and make this actually look a little bit more visually interesting depending on how I want it. And so I'll move my mouse around so that you can see some of these choices. And it just depends on how artistic you want to make this picture look. And there may be choices that you may not like, of course, and so you may not want to use them. Totally up to you. And so I'm just going to choose this one. And now I've enhanced the color. I've put in a little bit of a visual effect with the border, so using a picture style, and chose a slight artistic effect. So there's my second slide, and I do want you to notice this text here. 3 lines of text. Remember, we mentioned 6 lines of text, 6 words to a line, so there's not too much. Well, I don't have that much, so maybe I'll come back up here and change this to 28 font size, and then maybe bold it. And then one of the things that I like to do in PowerPoint is to shade it, or shadow it, I should say. And shadow actually is not a big shadow, but it thickens the text, and maybe even change the color so that it looks a little bit more visually interesting. And again, you can always change your mind how you want that to look. Remember, you have your undo button up here in your quick access toolbar. You can always hit undo. Remember, you can move anything and size it with the handles as well. So now I have my second slide, and I'm going to go up here to my quick access toolbar and click on save and save. And both slides are now saved into Vision Office Products, which was the name of this presentation before I started with you. I decided to save it so it would be easy to save throughout and give it a name. So it has a name, Vision Office Products, and every time I hit save, the new slide is added to this presentation. So what did we do so far? Let's just stop and review just a little bit. We chose a theme. We first entered text into a title slide, chose a theme, put in a picture, inserted a new slide, and now the next slide we're going to learn how to put in some word art. So let's go back to our PowerPoint presentation, and we're going to use that same new slide button. And this time I'm going to choose a layout, and a title only layout is something that I think I would like to use. So I'm going to click on title only, because in my mind I'm thinking that I might want to just put a title at the top and some word art. So I'm going to click right here, and I'm going to put in here that we have a new logo. So our new logo, we're going to present this to, let's say, our new division and show what the new logo is going to be. So I'm going to click off of that, and I don't have anything else to type in. So just to be aware, in PowerPoint, when you choose a layout, remember this was a title only layout, so it only gave me a text box for the title. If you really wanted to type something in addition to this, you could either insert a text box, or I'm going to come up here to insert. And in the text group, there's something called word art. So I'm going to click on word art, and now a gallery pulls down. In this gallery, I can choose any style that I prefer. And I always tell people that don't worry about the color pink or purple or red that you see. If you don't like that color, you can certainly change it afterwards, but just choose a style to begin with. And so I'm going to choose this style right here. And notice it comes up in a text box with gray saying your text here. It's already highlighted, that's why it's gray. And all you do is type. So you don't click, you just type. And the new logo is going to say ergonomic division. And remember, in PowerPoint, in Word, in Excel, you can always fix your errors anytime that you want. So you can right click, and notice it's showing me ergonomic spelled correctly. So I left click and it fixes it for me. So it looks okay. It's got a gray outline and it's got a black inside. I'm going to highlight this text. What I did is I came inside the text box and dragged to highlight the text. Why? Because I inside color and even the outside color, or one or the other. I'm going to come up here to format, and there is word art styles. That's the group that we're going to go to. There's text fill, text outline, and text effects, and we're going to use all three buttons. So if I click the down arrow on text fill and decide that I want to change the color of the inside. Now from black, I changed it to red. Text outline. You might want to change the outside color to a different color. And so let's say I choose black. The only thing is it's not a lot of outline color. So what I can do is go back to text outline and choose. So weight means the thickness of the outline. So I can make it a very thick outline or a thin outline, and I'll thicker. All right, I changed the fill color. I changed the text outline. And now I'm going to come up here to text effects. When I click on text effects, I can put a shadow. So I think I'll go down here to the bottom and use one of the larger shadows that are available. So I'll choose a shadow, and then I'll go back to text effects again. So remember, we're on the Format tab. We're in the Word Art Styles. We're looking at the Text Effects button. And this button here has something called Transform. Transform means take the word art text that you have and change the shape of it. And so there are all kinds of shapes that I can choose to make this logo look a little bit more visually interesting. And so I might want to choose a style and move my mouse around, decide how I want it to look. And I've decided that I want to use, and each one of these has a name. This one's called Inflate, and I'll click on Inflate, and that's how it's going to look. And maybe I will even move it a little bit. So I'll get on the border, move it a little bit up or down, left or right. Remember, I go to the border. If I wanted to size this, I could go to the handles and size it. But basically, I'm sizing the text box with the text inside as well. There we go. And so there's the new logo, Ergonomic Division. And what did we do? We put in some word art. So let's take a look at what word art is. Word art allows you to add text in and choose from a gallery. And then you are allowed to format the word art. So we changed the text fill, the text outline. We chose a shadow, which was a text effect, and we formed the shape of the word art, which is called transform. We go back to Ergonomic Division, and we see the 3 slides over here. And remember, what we should do is save after every slide, so I'll save. So now we have a presentation with 3 slides. You can have 999 slides if you like. We are going to go back to slide 1 by clicking on this miniature. And here is my slide. Now, let's say I wanted to give the audience a show using these 3 slides. Well, you want to understand that there are 4 different views. Now, how do I know that? Well, if you take a look at the bottom of your screen on the right-hand side with PowerPoint, you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4 different buttons at the bottom right. Each one of these buttons has a name. One is called Normal View. One is called Slide Sorter View. It looks like miniature slides, 4 of them on the button. One of them looks like a book, and that's called Reading View. One of them looks like a screen, which is called Slideshow. And you're going to be using these 4 views throughout these 3 parts of the PowerPoint training, but we've been in Normal View. Normal View is the view where you do all of your work. So when we are looking at the different views, Normal View is for working on a slide. Slide Sorter View is for seeing all your slides at once. Slideshow is for running the slideshow. And Reading View is for viewing, and that also can be used to run the slideshow. But the best view is to run the slideshow anyways, is the slideshow view. So let's go back to our PowerPoint presentation. And remember, this is Normal View. You would never want to give a presentation in Normal View because your audience would see the ribbon. They would see the miniatures on the left-hand side. So we're going to come down. We're going to come down and click on Slideshow. So now notice the slide fills the screen. This is what the audience would see. In part 2, we're going to talk about animating the slides, animating the text, the objects on the slides, and also making the slides move, and that's called a transition. But right now, we didn't learn that yet, so everything is manual. So how do I get to the next slide? I've got to click the mouse. And when I click the mouse, I go to slide 2. And I want you to understand something. This is great. This is really good. It looks good. But your audience is reading all of your bulleted items at once. And they're reading them probably several times as you're still talking about maybe one of the bullets. Remember, the audience can read 10 times faster than you can speak. And so they've already read all of the bullets. So in the next video, we're going to learn how to take these bullets and make them drop down or come in from the left one at a time. That's called custom animation. Now I'm going to click the mouse again, and we're going to come to our last slide, which is our new logo, ergonomic division, that we used with word art. We put a shadow on it. We changed the color. It looks pretty good. And now we're done. Well, what happens when you click the mouse next is that the slideshow ends. You get a black screen, and at the top it says click to end the slideshow. And you do, and you're back to normal view. And I want you to notice, how do you know that you're back to normal view? Well, you see the miniatures on the left. You see the slide, but more importantly, you come down here and you see that the normal button is gray, so you know that you're in that. And then, of course, we save, again, just to make sure that we saved all 3 slides. And we are done with creating our PowerPoint presentation. So hopefully this is enough information to get you started. Well, let's review a little bit about what we went over. We went over PowerPoint screen basics, text boxes into the slides, typing in them, what layouts are, how do you choose a layout, what layouts should you use, creating slides. We put text, we put pictures, we put word art. We saved the presentation, we ran the slideshow. And that's basically what we want to do in any presentation that we create. These are the basics. And we want to thank you so much for joining us today, watching this video. And remember, Mass Higher Metro North Career Centers, we have a website with all of our live events on it as well. And we have a YouTube channel where you probably found this video, and more every day are coming. And I just want to come back with my webcam for just a second to say thank you for joining me today. And hopefully I'll see you in some of the live events that we have through Mass Higher Metro North. Thank you.